Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the long season. Alright, we've got a bunch of stuff going here. We got a bunch of satellites and stuff up. And it's time to get moving on some other things. Now, we're looking here at the tech tree. Specialized construction. This is the one that I need to get next because it's got the Clampetron docking port in it. I need that because I want to get started with a space station. And so, to that end, I've got a few testing contracts that should, I hope, get me the science when added to 42 will come up to 160 so that I can get those docking ports. Now, looking at the contracts here, let's stretch this out, close that, and close that. This is one of them. Test that landed, test this one landed. We'll be doing that first. And I believe I've got a vehicle all set up for that. Alright, turned out I didn't have one made up for this. But this one is the first testing contract. We'll take care of testing the Mark 1 lander can and the aeroponics module on the launch pad. And oh yes, by the way, I did finally get myself a flag made up. I think that looks good. I like it. Anyway, let's do the test. And we don't care who's flying this one because it's just a test. Alright, here we go. So we just get the nav ball out of the way and let's open up our contract. There we go. And we just run test. Okay, that one's taken care of. Now this one, another one, you just hit run test. That's taken care of. Contract completed. Let's recover it. Okay, of course, since it never launched and used anything, we're getting all of our funds back. We got no rep, apparently no rep from it. We don't care about that right now. We've got 111.1 science. Alright, and now for the next test vehicle. Okay, here we are. And this one is the mobile refinery. We have to test it in flight over Kerbin. I'm going to use Smart ASS because Hadley Kerman, our pilot for this mission, is not a pilot. But he's next in a rotation. Okay, we need to be going between 380 and 580 meters per second, between 18,000 and 22,000 meters altitude. Okay, so I built this ship, and the easiest way going to do this is hit surface mode and hit, no, actually up. We're just going to orient this thing straight up and fly straight up. So let's rock. Throttle up enough to lift off. Now, I did include several of these advanced inline stabilizers to give this thing enough torque to stay straight. And there's a bunch of AVR8 winglets on there as well. So we just watch altitude. And our speed. And we get going into the right range. At which point we hit run test and complete the contract. And then we recover this thing because it's expensive. Throttle back a little bit and watch the speed. We want it to keep gaining, but we don't want it to gain too fast. Run about half throttle here. Okay, now full throttle. We're in the altitude range, speed range, run test, contract complete, engine off. And now we just wait for it to reach its maximum altitude, which is going to be 33,000. And we'll go ahead and speed it up for this. Okay, Hadley Kerman's getting pretty dizzy here, so let's deploy the parachutes and engage a little bit of thrust to help with the braking. Hopefully slow down that spin. Back off the thrust a little bit. We still want to keep going down. We just don't want to be going very fast when the parachute deploys. Or when it opens up, when they open up all the way, I mean. Which should be happening fairly soon. Still decelerating. There's the runway coming up fast. We have max deploy. Now it's just use the engines to control the descent at a safe pace. Nice, easy landing. Touching down at less than 5 meters per second, it looks like. Okay, right about at. But we have a successful landing. We've completed the contract. Let's recover this thing. Okay, we're up to 156 science, which is just short of the 160 that's needed. Isn't that special? Okay. And next. All right, just stopped in here to the mission control area here for the contract, and we've got one to test a Mark II cockpit landed. Give us some science out of that, so let's take that contract and do it. Okay, here we go. Mark II cockpit. All right. We'll just get out a launch stability enhancer. Attach that on there. Bring it down a little bit. Doesn't need to be up in the stratosphere. And let's go do the test. Let's see. Let me check real quick. And this is to use the run test option. Okay, good deal. We don't care who flies this one, so let's go. All right, this is a quickie. Nav ball out of the way. Just right click on this thing. Run test. And contract is completed. Recover. Okay. Got our money back. 152 reputation. 191 science. All right. Excellent. Stop in here. And specialized construction. We'll research that. And I'm going to go ahead and get all 36. No, 400. No, we're not going to get all 36 parts. All right, I'm going to pick and choose, and we'll get on with it. All right, here we go. We've got Donnie and Werdorf Kerman next up in the flight rotation, and a Mycroft class launcher to put up this rather largish kind of satellite. So, without further ado, let's rock. We are making for a 90-kilometer orbit. Let's see, get up to about 1 kilometer and begin the pitch program. And let's go. Get this thing into orbit, and once we run the test, it will remain in orbit as our first space station component. Alright, SRB is about done. Jettison SRBs. I think we just lost them because of the velocity, but we're all right with that. Immediately pitch to 70 degrees and get ready to pitch to 60. All right, looking good. Pitch to 60. Get ready to pitch over to 45. And go for 45. A little bit derpy on the fairing jettison there. That wasn't exactly wonderful. All right, pitching to 0. As our apoapsis is past 70 kilometers. And I'm actually a little late in pitching over to 0, but it'll do. Get apoapsis up to 90, and we'll plot a circularization burn. All right, close this, get it out of the way. Add maneuver at apoapsis. And that'll do it for us. Assume maneuver node. 40-second burn. 9:25. There's 6:37 left in this stage, so I'm going to start my burn a little bit early at about T-minus 35 seconds. Turn that off, SAS on. That'll put this thing into orbit with that stage returning. All right, excellent. Now, contract. Does the contract say we're in orbit yet? Not yet. We're in the right altitude range, but we're not actually in orbit because the orbit is negative. As soon as that lights up, we hit the run test and complete the contract. Good. We're in orbit. Run test. Contract completed. All right. Now we can go ahead and decouple that stage. Let's switch to it real quick. We're out of range with the flight computer. We're out of communication. Okay. Well, it'll have to stay there until it comes into communications range, and that'll be on the next orbit, so I can take care of that off camera. Meanwhile, we're back on the station. This thing has been tested. Now, this thing has something of a problem. I just noticed it. Do you see the problem? I see it, and it's rather glaring. We have RCS fuel tanks aboard. We have life support, batteries, solar panels. You know what we don't have? RCS thrusters. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. Okay, that out of the way. And let me set up these antennas. And I hope that the power drain from the antennas is not so much that the solars won't be able to keep up with it. Okay, have a look here. Okay, it's in contact with the ComSats. We're good there. Get rid of the maneuver node. Check our orbit parameters. 96 by 85. That's good enough for this. Actually, I would like to actually make it circular, but without even having thrusters on here, I can't do that. Oh well, I should have done that before ditching that other stage that is currently unusable. But Donnie and Werdorf are doing their thing. They're on the station. They are the first permanent long-term residents in space. Start centrifuge, start breeder. I don't know what that's all about. We are definitely using a significant amount of power. And so I think I'm going to turn off all but one of these. The one that talks to ComSat 1 I'll leave on. We do have some power depletion, so we'll need to get another module up here with more solar panels. Okay, next up we have Bob Kerman and Tanbury Kerman, the next two up in our crew rotation, and they will be bringing the Space Station Command Center into position and docking it with the Science Lab. So, let us rock. We're doing okay on funds. This ship costs about $125,000 to launch. And we're not getting any contracts done with this flight. This one is to get the space station going. So, let's rock. Nice clean liftoff. Nice and easy. Slow at first because this thing is kind of heavy. And let's begin our pitch program. throttle to max for staging. We'll want that main booster section to take over right away. Alright, good. Set up for our next pitch at 70 degrees once the apoapsis reaches about 12,000. Alright, just about there, getting close. Begin the next pitch, set up for the 60-degree turn when it reaches 24,000. And like the other part, the science lab, we have a fair amount of life support on here, with 157 days worth of life support given the current crew. So that'll be good. Nearing first stage separation, and that's gone. Pitching to 60 degrees, getting ready to go to 45. And I did make sure that this one actually has RCS thrusters on it, so it will be able to do a little something. Kind of necessary for docking maneuvers. Get to 30,000 apoapsis and pitch to 45. And we're go. We'll be pitching to 30 degrees at 50,000 apoapsis. Okay. About to lose the second stage. There it goes. Nice clean fairing separation as the skipper engine takes over on the final stage here. And we are now pitching 30 degrees. And then we'll pitch to 0 degrees on the horizon when the apoapsis passes 70 kilometers. I've got more solar panels on here, 2 rows of them all the way around. A little bit of RCS fuel and thrusters on there so that this thing can maneuver for docking. Docking ports at both ends of each module. So this thing should be no problem rearranging it in orbit should the need arise. Okay, just about time to head for the horizon. Yes, pitching to the horizon now. Alright, engine cut off, apoapsis 90 kilometers. We are 2.5 minutes away from that point. Do the orbit circularization thing. Okay, that's looking good. And we'll handle maneuvering and rendezvous maneuvers and such later. And I'm going to have the flight computer handle this. Turn Smart ASS off. How is our power situation? Looks like we're doing okay. Looking good. Achieving orbit. And there is probe core on here so that this booster stage can be deorbited. All right, we are in our 90 km orbit. Good. Okay, turn these lines off so I can see what's going on. All right, I'm going to, well, let's see. Yeah, we're going to need to keep this on there for a little while. All right, I'm going to take a few minutes and get set up to handle rendezvous. All right, I think I've got a maneuver planned here that should result in a intersect in a reasonable amount of time. Raising the orbit out a little ways for phasing so that when we come back around, we'll be in position to rendezvous. So I'm going to go ahead and program the flight computer to carry this one out. Because why not? Because Bob and Tanbury are both scientists. They're not pilot. I don't believe Tanbury's a pilot. I don't know. What tell me here? Yeah, Tanbury's an engineer and Bob is a scientist. Okay. Gets in position. We'll time warp around and do the rendezvous burn. Okay. Have a look here. Closest approach 6 kilometers. That will work. Awesome. Great.